This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging potential investors not to miss their opportunity to invest in Jamaica now, as the country is poised for significant growth in the medium and long terms. Addressing the Jamaica Investment Forum 2018 yesterday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness called on investors to sign up early and reap the benefits when the Jamaican economy flourishes. He noted the success of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, and the soon-to-come Fiscal Council as proof of the country's commitment to fiscal prudence. This comes on the heels of comments from Industry and Commerce Minister Audley Shaw, who says the government will be using 4 platforms to improve the island's ease of doing business.
We are working assiduously to have these projects completed and launched. As a country, we have sought to build a strong and robust landscape in which businesses can thrive, recognizing that comprehensive and supportive business facilitation are essential for investment and business development.
The annual conference is Jamaica's premier forum to attract foreign direct investments. Members of Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC, drilled officials of the state-run oil refinery, Petro Jamaica, yesterday about the state of affairs at the entity, including the issuing of $13 million contract to an entertainment firm, the $12 million salary package for the human resource manager, and travel expenses incurred by the chairman. The spotlight was on Floyd Grindley, Petro Jamaica's general manager, who came under fire from some of the committee members for failing to provide satisfactory answers to issues highlighted. The management of Petro Jamaica has been given 3 weeks to provide detailed response to the PAAC. Some members of the committee expressed surprise when it was revealed that Petro Jamaica paid $13 million to the entertainment firm on a retainer to provide public relations and related services.
Do you pay? No, please, Mr.
Please,
Chairman, I need protection here.
Let Member Jackson
Mr. Chairman, I need some protection. Do you pay a retainer fee to a company, retain them for entertainment services? Yes or no?
I said yes, member.
What is the retainer fee you pay for that, to that company? And I'm going to go in, what is it for?
The retainer fee for the year, 13.9 million. Jamaican.
You retain a company.
You retain a company for entertainment for $13.5 million per year.
For the year, for 1 year. It's a contract for 1 year.
Petro Jamaica's general manager then came under fire from the opposition members Mikhail Phillips and Fitz Jackson after it was revealed that a firm, Asha Corporation, was hired by the oil refinery to provide technical services for the installation of a vacuum distillation unit. But payments amounting to millions of dollars were being made directly to an official of the company, identified as Rodney Davis.
Mr. Greenlee, the reason why I'm so concerned about this, the profit from Petro Jamaica can help to build schools, repair roads as a government company. And when the money is misspent, the people of Jamaica suffer. That's a consequence of these kind of decisions that you make.
In the meantime, PAAC member Juliet Holness said a full explanation was needed in relation to the $12 million annual salary to Petro Jamaica's human resource manager.
We want to ensure we understand what market pays versus what you're paying, and we want to be able to determine if this is more or less than in previous years, what was the person earning before, what was their role, and what is the role of the current HR officer.
The Petro Jamaica boss explained that the entity paid the former human resource manager $9.5 million annually and an industrial relations manager $5.5 million. Lawyers representing Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, have applied to the appeal court to stay its landmark ruling that the investigative agency does not have the power to arrest, charge, or prosecute members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. The ruling, which was handed down in March, has blocked INDECOM from laying charges against members of the force. INDECOM has applied to the appeal court for leave to take its challenge to the ruling to the Privy Council. During submissions on Wednesday, Indicom attorney Richard Small urged that Indicom cases now before the island's courts are in danger of being thrown out by judges. He cited 4 instances in which cases brought by Indicom have been dismissed since the ruling, adding that defense attorneys have served notice that they will be seeking to nullify cases brought by the agency against their clients. He also argued that since the ruling, Indicom investigators have lost their procedural rights to initiate and conduct prosecutions, and their right to be actively involved in prosecution has also been reduced. The hearing continues today. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson wants the police force to be self-sufficient and stop accepting private donations. He believes the police should be giving back to society instead of accepting, because these situations create conflicts of interest and problems in law enforcement. Speaking in an interview recently, the commissioner said, quote, "There is at least an expectation, and you are creating the mechanism for too tired policing." End quote. Christmas gifts, Labor Day facelifts, and donations by community leaders and corporations to the police are commonplace in Jamaica. Water tax, computers, and even motor vehicles are some of the donations received. The commissioner said the discussions are already taking place with a view to eliminating the practice. Minister of Transport and Mining Robert Montague says there may come a time when persons with criminal records will not be allowed to operate public passenger vehicles, PPV. He was speaking recently at the IGL Blue Health, Safety and Environment Road Safety Incentive Awards ceremony. The withdrawal of the badges of persons with criminal records is among proposals for the transformation of the transportation sector that were put forward by the minister in his sectoral debate presentation on May 30. He noted that every driver ought to have a current badge, and if one accumulates too many points against their driver's license, they may not withdraw their driver's license, but they can withdraw the badge. In regional news, with the forecast that at least 6 tropical storms could develop in the Caribbean Sea during this hurricane season, Cuba's meteorological authorities are planning ahead. They say the country stands ready to face the stormy season, which will end on November 30. Richard Richards explains.
In the midst of the daily roundtable Mesa Redonda of the Cuban television system, it was announced that Cuba's National Institute of Meteorology has predicted that more or less some 12 cyclones will hit the Caribbean during hurricane period 2018, a season that will reach its end the coming 30th of November. During this term, there's a high probability that 6 of these tropical storms could have their development right here in the Caribbean Sea due to the high temperature and elevated activity in regional waters, and also high is the possibility that those cyclones could develop quickly into hurricanes of major or minor intensity. At the moment, Cuba is not worried about tropical storms because there is no condition in the above atmosphere for the progress of such natural phenomenon, but concerns of the Cuban authorities are focused on the rains that will soon be affecting the island. A large area of showers and thunderstorms located over the western Caribbean Sea, just to the east of Nicaragua and northeastern Honduras, is associated with a sharp surface trough. This area of disturbed weather is forecast to move westward to northwestward over Central America and the Yucatan Peninsula during the next couple of days. This trough will surely bring heavy rainfalls on central and the westernmost part of Cuba, and the problem now is that the recent subtropical storm, Alberto, has left too much water. The earth is soaked, rivers are still flooded, and water reservoirs are nearly filled. As a matter of fact, nationally, the 242 dams built by the revolution are at 84% of their capacity and have eased more than 8 billion cubic meters of water so as to avoid overflooding and endangering the people of neighboring communities. Subtropical storm Alberto left a deadly trail. Until now, it is reported that 9 persons have lost their lives by their own imprudence, disobeying orders of early evacuation, or prohibitions of crossing flooded rivers, standing on bridges or in the openings during heavy rain and storms, or returning too soon to homes that were properly announced previously in danger of collapsing. Just 1 year ago, before the hit of Hurricane Irma, Cuba was suffering an intense 3-year drought, the most terrible period in its history. Now a rainy time have come overlapping with the 1st of June, beginning of cyclones in the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. As usual, protective procedures are being carried out all through the country by the Cuba's National Civil Defense Group in order to preserve lives and protect social and economic institutions. Direct from Cuba, Richards, Canal Caribe.
In sports, West Indies are poised for their first series win over a higher-ranked nation in 6 years, but will be wary of a wounded Sri Lanka when they clash in the second test at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground starting in St. Lucia today. The Windies' last series win over a major nation came when they swept New Zealand 2-0 in the Caribbean back in 2012. Since then, their only successes have come against Minnows, Bangladesh and Zimbabwe. However, following their emphatic 226-run victory in the opening test in Port of Spain last weekend, the Windies are now well placed to turn the screws on Sri Lanka, and captain Jason Holder said the opening win had given his side a massive boost of confidence.
This occasion, we won a series against Zimbabwe. We won a few test matches against, last year against numerous opposition. This is another opportunity for us to win a series. We have 2 test matches to close the series out. We'd like ideally to close out in this game, but I told the guys not to focus on the result. We need to focus on the process. We need to focus on what we need to do in order to win the test match. And as individuals, accepting their roles and performing. Just carrying out their particular roles, and if we string together that as a collective unit, then we get the results we're looking for.
And that's the news. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station. This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start as usual with our local currents. Across the island today, we're seeing temperatures between 29 and 33 degrees Celsius, and we're also seeing a forecast of some cloudy conditions in the central and eastern parts of the island. We're also seeing that we could be seeing some scattered showers over there in Port Antonio, in Montego Bay, and over there in the Grill as well. But let's take a look at what's happening right now in Kingston. This afternoon, we're seeing a temperature between 26 and 30 degrees Celsius, so it's pretty warm out with sunny skies. The temperature is set to go down at 26 degrees Celsius, right as the sun sets at 6:33 p.m. In Montego Bay, St. James, warm temperatures forecast between 24 and 29 degrees Celsius throughout the day, but we could be getting some rainfall today. We're expecting that the temperature will go down to a cool 8 degrees Celsius in certain areas of St. James. Let's take a look at what could be happening tonight. Warm temperatures between 23 and 26 degrees Celsius across the island. Cloudy conditions, but mostly clear skies forecast for tonight. And tomorrow across the island, temperatures between 29 and 33 degrees Celsius, with Black River forecast to have the highest temperature for tomorrow. We're looking at sunny skies across the island. In our Caribbean forecast for tomorrow, those of you who are traveling to islands like Cuba and over there in St. George's, Grenada, we're looking at cloudy conditions. We could be getting some rainfall in Antigua. It's going to be pretty cloudy over there in Santo Domingo, but we're looking at sunny skies for the Bahamas. Let's go further afield now to the United States. On your screen, you should be seeing Los Angeles, Miami, New York, and Atlanta. We're looking at a possibility of rainfall for Miami and Atlanta, but sunny skies for Los Angeles and a forecast of some cloudy conditions over there in New York. Temperature is set between a minimum 14 degrees Celsius with a high 39 degrees Celsius, and the highest temperature is forecast for Los Angeles. And that's it for the weather report. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Pleasant viewing.